And he's totally, he's out, which is, well, his twin is with him right now, so that always takes precedence. This painting is, well, the painting is about a girl who is inside, behind a window. And that's fairly obvious when you look at it, but the story behind the painting is that she has two fully realized paintings underneath the painting that ended up being there. So I was calling it the cursed canvas for a while because I just couldn't quite resolve anything that I ended up painting on it. And in the process of painting over the second painting, something jumped through, a face jumped through at me. So I pulled the face out of that painting and it resulted in this girl's face. And I was still quite frustrated with the piece, so one very cold day in my studio last winter, I decided to throw paint thinner at it, and it resulted in looking a bit like rain coming down on a window. And so I decided that that's what it was going to be, and it was one of those happy accidents that. This piece I titled Focus. A lot of my pieces have quite general backgrounds, and I prefer to title the piece with something that's quite open, that doesn't influence the viewer to project their own, it doesn't lead the viewer. I would rather they project their own feelings onto the piece and be guided by those feelings rather than me tell them how to feel about it. So with this one, I entitled it Focus because literally parts of the painting look in focus and parts of them are quite blurry, but the eyes are very, very crisp. And usually I soften them a little bit, but with this piece I thought the power lay within those crisp lines of the eyes.
This is one of my oil paintings. Actually, it's based from Corsica. I was traveling around in Europe for a number of months, and I was really struck by the old architecture there and all the buildings that are sort of decaying, and the sense that things that are man-made structures are sort of returning to nature in a sense, having all the bricks and the vines kind of crumbling out. And I did a lot of sketching and photography when I was traveling, and I would be kind of just spending a lot of time exploring the streets and walking down through these buildings. And this particular one caught my attention because of the level of decay and how it's kind of just completely crumbled, especially on the right-hand side. But people are actually still living in the building on the left, and you get that sense from the antennas up in the left-hand corner. So it's a neat combination for me between something that is decaying and crumbling and changing and that kind of transition, but there's still kind of life in it, and it's contemporary, and that people are still living there. And I paint in a fairly photographic realistic style, and I try to capture the look of the photograph through my painting. So the left side is a lot more soft focus to kind of capture that sense of the depth of field of the camera. And I'm interested in the idea of the photograph being able to kind of fix that moment in time and kind of preserve it or stop it in time, even though it's a building that's in transition and decay and it's constantly changing. So there's a neat combination between change and stability and permanence through the creation of the painting. I also incorporate some abstract elements into my work, which are actually painted beforehand, I start with this sort of dark red color and mask it out and paint the building right over top. And those are peeled out afterwards. And they're abstract interpretations of the vines and the side of the building wall that's kind of crumbling away. And they sort of represent holes or missing pieces from the canvas. So just like sections of the plaster are kind of peeled away from the brick, there's actually appears that sections of the painting are sort of peeled away from the surface as well. So it just creates another layer of interest for the painting and for the viewer.